देखन चह कमल नयन को देखन चह कमल नयन को हरदम उदासी हरदम उदासी अखियाँ दर्शन की प्यासी अखियाँ दर्शन की प्यासी अखियाँ दर्शन की प्यासी। ईश्वर तिलक माल मोतियन की ईश्वर तिलक माल मोतियन की ईश्वर तिलक माल मोतियन की वृंदावन के बासी वृंदावन के बासी ईश्वर तिलक माल मोतियन की वृंदावन के बासी वृंदावन के बासी ईश्वर तिलक माल मोतियन की ईश्वर तिलक माल मोतियन की वृंदावन के बासी जेहि तन लागे वही तन जाने जेहि तन लागे वही तन जाने लोगन की हो हासी हरदम उदासी हरदम उदासी अखियाँ दर्शन की प्यासी अखियाँ दर्शन की प्यासी अखियाँ दर्शन की प्यासी। लगा के त्याग दई तृण सम लगा के त्याग दई तृण सम लगा के त्याग दई तृण सम डाल गए गलभासी। कत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो में, कत कबीर कबीर कहता कबीर कबीर कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो में, ले हो कर बटकासी, ले हो कर बटकासी। हरदम उदासी, हरदम उदासी। नखिया हरि दर्शन के दासी, अखियाँ हरि दर्शन की कासी, अखियाँ हरि दर्शन की कासी। देखने चहे कमल नयन को, देखने चहे कमल नयन को। हरदम हरदम रामदासी, अखियाँ हरि दर्शन की प्यासी, अखियाँ हरि दर्शन की प्यासी, अखियाँ हरि दर्शन की प्यासी। जो सुख होत भगत घर राय, 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 सो सुख होत नहीं बहु संपत्ति, सो सुख होत नहीं बहु संपत्ति, सो सुख होत नहीं बहु संपत्ति। बांझहि बेटा जाय, ये बांझहि बेटा जाय, जो सुख होत भगत घर राय। सुख होत भगत चरणोदक, जो सुख होत भगत चरणोदक, पीवत गात लगाए। जो सुख होत भगत चरणोदक, पीवत गात लगाए। सो सुख सपने हूँ नहीं पैयत, सो सुख सपने हूँ नहीं पैयत, कोटिक तीर्थ नहारे, कोटिक तीर्थ नहारे। जो सुख होत भगत घर आरे, जो सुख होत भगत घर आरे, जो सुख होत भगत घर आरे। जो सुख भगतन को मुख देखत, जो सुख भगतन को मुख देखत, जो सुख भगतन को जो सुख भगतन को मुख देखत, उपजत दुख बिसराए। जो सुख भगतन को मुख देखत, उपजत दुख बिसराए। सो सुख होतन कामी कबहू, सो सुख होतन कामी कबहू, सो सुख होतन कामी कबहू। कामिनी उर्लिपटारे, कामिनी उर्लिपटारे, कामिनी उर्लिपटारे। जो सुख
ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. My namaskar to everyone who is listening to this talk on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are in 6th chapter, the Shashtodhyayah, and here until now we have seen Shri Bhagavan until this fourth verse, what Bhagavan has said to Arjuna, that sannyasa and yoga, they are the one and the same thing, and without the absolute renunciation, absolute giving up of the sankalpa, nobody can be a truly yogi. So the renunciation and the yoga, they go both hand in hand. And for the beginner, for the novice, the action is the way. And whereas for the master, for the adept, inaction is the way. Shama karana muchyate. So who is the master? So he describes in the fourth verse as the one who does not get obsessively attached to indriya vishaya, to the objects of the senses, or neither in the action. Na karmasu anushajyate. Not get obsessed with the action. Action at hand, his kartavya maybe. So that detachment towards even your kartavya, that is very much necessary to be a true yogi. Not being dedicated is not the thing, but being obsessed with something, that is certainly not the thing. Na karmasu anushajyate. So this is many times we find in many good people, and that obsession with the work. So though it might be very well in the limit defined by the circumstances as his duty, people become so obsessed, it become the cause of torment for that the person himself or herself, and as well as the others. Being obsessed with the work, the way of the work many times, and many times the goal of the work. People do not want to be flexible or reconcile to the result or the way many times it goes. They are not as per the standard, as per the expectations, and people lose their nerve. We have seen this. Everybody of us, we have experienced this at our workplace, at home. So to be a true yogi, this is very intrinsic condition, this is very necessary condition, that not to be obsessed with the karma. न कर्मसु अनुषज्यते. And सर्व संकल्प संन्यासी योगारूढ़ tada uchyate. That he has completely given up these sankalpas, these resolves. So how does one work? You can imagine that a person who is not forming any resolve and working as only the true witness of it. This is the state of the yogi. If you can imagine this state, if you can meditate on this state, sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudha tada uchyate. So how does he work? He is yogi. How does he act? How does he respond to the world? And he has given up all sankalpa, rooted in the desire, rooted in this ajnana, ahankara. He is free of that. He do what is necessary. But before that, this attachment to indriya vishaya, desire form thereof, dhyayato vishayan punsa sangasteshu upajayate. Vishayan dhyanam, then its attachment sangasteshu upajayate, teshu upajayate. Sanga sanjayate, kama, desire develops. So, and that from that desire, the sankalpa develops. That I will have that, I have to do this. So these kinds of mental waves are forming in his mind. So this reaction does not take place. These preceding steps, what generally happens with most of us ordinary people who are not free from these clutches. This is the story of everyone. But the yoga rudha, it does not happen with him. He is the master of his mind. His mind does not make such mental states, forms, does not get attached to indriya vishaya, and does not form the waves in his mind, and does not therefore give rise to sankalpa. He acts as it is necessary. Somebody says something, we might feel, we might react, mental wave is formed, and we make a sankalpa. We have the experience first of happiness. So we may make a sankalpa that we should reciprocate it. So we should smile, we should say thank you, we must say welcome, come to my house, I will offer you tea. You might feel such kinds of waves, they may generally proceed. Or if you feel, say somebody has said, it is indriya vishaya. Indriya vishaya is what? Of the indriya karna. Vishaya is shabda. Somebody has said, you have reacted to it, and you felt humiliated, you felt insulted, you feel small, and you feel now urge now to maybe to react to it, to retaliate, and to show the other person, probably to make him or her feel small, or to escape it, further embarrassment, any of the way you might feel, and accordingly you make mental waves are formed in the form of sankalpa, that I must do this, I must not do this, vikalpa, sankalpa, vikalpa. A yogi, a yoga rudha, these steps does not take place, this reaction does not take place. Swami Vivekananda has explained it very beautifully, that all your experiences are the product of two things. The product, the yaks, which is stimuli, which comes from the world, which is not you, from anything. somebody has said something, you have seen something, you might have tasted something, etc., etc. So from sensory doors, sensory windows, that information is brought in. This is X. And the other thing, say Y, that is you. X is which is not you, and Y is which is you. So Y is your sanskara, your chitta, your mana. These two things, the product of these two things is what you call as experience. So experience, as Swamiji puts it, is always a reaction. You feel happy, it's a reaction. It's the resultant of the two product, X and Y. So the thing to learn, the takeaway here is, you cannot have control over X, which is not you. Only you can control, tame, modify, or moderate the Y. If you moderate Y accordingly, so that would be the result. So regardless of X, if Y is 0, the resultant would be 0. Similarly, this is the state of the yogi. There is no Y, so there is no product. That person's perception, as we have seen through so many verses in 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, that Sarvato Brahma Akhilam. He sees that the waves are rising and mixing in it. Yoga Rudha Tada Uchyate. So Sankalpa are given up, that Sankalpa are not formed. That is the idea. Sankalpa once formed, that is not the way after they are formed, they are given up, that he does not act according to it. That cannot be the true renunciation. Sankalpa are not formed in the first place. That is Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasa. That is the idea. So, in this connection, taking forward this thought, that to become Yoga Rudha, that you should have such, to train your mind, brought your mind to such a state that your mind does not react in such a fashion to Indriya Vishaya. He says further in the 5th verse now, we will be seeing, Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanama avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. This is the 5th verse. So, what is said here? This is probably one of the very popular verses. Swami Brahmananji Maharaj, Swami Turiyananji Maharaj, they used to quote this verse. And I would like to say that in this one verse, there lies the crux of all our spiritual struggle. Or rather, the solution to our spiritual struggle. What is being said here? Uddharet. It means to uplift. Uddhara, we say. So, Uddharet Atmana. This is the third case. Atmana, it is like instrument. So, Atmana means self. yourself or myself, where that self word is used. So Atmana, by the self. Atmana means by the self, making self as an instrument. Now it would be clear when we read that what this self means. In Sanskrit, Atma means that self, that me, that's it. Atma means me. Me in the sense of, it can be in the sense of body, it can be sense in the mind. To whomever I identify myself with, what do I mean by I? To that it can be called as Atman. That's why in the truest sense of the term, the highest sense of the term, that's why I is referred to, Atma is referred to, that Shuddha Chaitanya which lies within every human being. So by the self, by yourself, Uddharet Atmana, Atmanam, and Uddharet to whom? To whom to uplift? Yourself only. Now Atmanam, this is the second case, the objective case. First it was Atmana, it is the instrumental case, making yourself an instrument by the self. Raise yourself. So one thing is uplifting another. So one thing is self and another thing is also self. So raise yourself by yourself. This is the meaning of the word. Raise yourself by yourself. Uddharet Atmana Atmanam. So this is the thing. Now in corollary, it has been said, Na Atmanam avasadayat. Do not let yourself go down. Adham gamayat. That's what Shankaracharya said. Adham gamayat. Do not let yourself go down. Avasadayat. So apparently there are two things, two faculties, and one is helping out other to raise it up and do not let it go down. So what are those two faculties? They are you only. At one point of time, they are your two tendencies of your mind to go one way or the other, Shreya or Preya. One is something palatable, delectable, and something which is electable, which is to be chosen, which is Shreya, which takes you towards greatness. Other thing might make you temporarily happy. So that is Preya, which is Priya to you, that is Preya. And which is one is Shreya, which is Shreyaskara. It is innate by its own greatness. That thing, that objective, that ideal is great. So pleasure over greatness. This is the conflict. And one has to choose over other. So mind has these tendencies. Every human being has got these conflicting tendencies. Every sensible human being. Only the Paramhamsa and absolute stone, they might not have conflict. Because their mind is now fully oriented of a Paramhamsa. And he does not have any conflicting idea. So his life is fully oriented towards Shreya. And the other being, so like which has not developed any discriminating faculty, any distinguishing faculty one over the other. So as soon as life develops, it learns to differentiate one over the other. If something is food and something is poison, if it cannot distribute, it cannot survive. So rest, everybody has this conflict, this dilemma of choice. So towards something which might be very pleasurable immediately, the mind drags towards it, and that may not be exactly the thing which might further, easier make take you towards the higher goal or the greater good. The greater good is which will bring that happiness or a sustainable time which will stand the test of causes, time, etc. That the happiness which will not be challenged. In the sixth chapter only, yes, that is the 22nd verse, if I am not mistaken. That verse is, yes, 22nd verse. Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate na adhikam tatah yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. So what kind of state? Everybody is looking for happiness, but happiness is as long as it is the product of some actions, which is, so it will have a expiry time, expiry limit. It will, as soon as that disintegrates, that cause of happiness goes away. It does not remain permanently. Something makes you happy and it does not last indefinitely, forever, because it is a product of something. That little bit of experience, for it only brings a moment of happiness. That happiness does not sustain, and you are in the search of happiness, of that joy, of that pleasure, and this goes on, and that's why it drags you, that pursuit of happiness, that drags you towards to form various desires. Why something is desirable? Because it has this intent at its backdrop that it will make you happy. That's why desire is formed. That's why you follow it to attain it. Again, lot of time, energy, and labor is wasted, and a sparkle of joy you get, and that again it extinguishes, and again you back to square one. Again, you are dragged in this cycle. So, something if you would get which would sustain that joy more and more, linger more and more time, or so to say, if you get some joy which will never decay, avyaya, which would not be ever spent fully, which will remain as it is in its quality, and there would be no limit to it. That would be ideal. That would be the perfect thing. Then you would not be able to come down from the state of happiness. And why would one think of such thing, that may such thing exist or not? But as you have come to think of it, so why it is so? So Shastra says, Upanishad says, or the rishis who have realized this truth, they say that your desire or your imagination, that if such thing would have existed, is not vain, because such thing do exist and you are simply able to imagine of it, is because It is your true nature, and that's what you are seeking. And that's what you partially, grain by grain, drop by drop, little or more, you experience in this world. But your thirst will never be quenched unless you attain it in its true nature, which is infinity. So this verse said, Yam labdva cha aparam labham manyate nadhikam tata. This is the 22nd verse of the same chapter, of the 6th chapter. It means that after getting which, Yam labdva cha aparam labham, after which you will not feel any other labham, any other gain. Aparam labham. Labha is gain. Aparam is anything other. Manyate, it you will not feel, you will not consider it. Adhikam tataha, you will not consider it greater than what you have already got. So you have to get something which has to be highest, and nothing could be greater than that. So what could be highest and nothing could be greater? There would be only one thing, that would be infinity. Nothing can be greater than that. That is the ultimate thing. Yam labdva cha aparam labham manyate nadhikam tatah. Yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. If you are means first, it is described as if it is a thing you can get. And in the second, third and fourth charan, third and fourth quarter, it is explained as if it is the same thing, is the state also. Yasmin sthito. That in that state, when you are established, when you are situated, when you are seated in that seat, in that state, that even the mountainous sorrow cannot move you. Yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi. However big the dukkha is, gurunapi vichalyate. It will not make you vichalita. It will not disturb you, perturb you. So so here it is said that uddhared atmana atmanam, that these two faculties lies in every being. So there is this conflict of choices, these tendencies, these sanskaras. You have, everyone has got these good sanskaras, shubha sanskaras and ashubha sanskaras. Your spiritual struggle is this conflict between two. Your success is as your shubha sanskaras are as the faculties of your mind which you want to prevail, and they do, that is your success. When they fail to, that is a setback. So this, our thirst for infinity, this our search for infinity of our real nature, of ourself, this is propelling, this is inspiring this spiritual struggle, that the truth must prevail. And it will, and this toggle, this tug of war between this apparent nature of man, which is consisted of this character, which is formed, which is constituted of these habits, formed of these samskaras, these impressions of your every encounter. Indriya, Vishaya, Mana, Chitta, Buddhi, Ahankara. Of your every action. With this, these sanskaras are formed, with these habits are formed, with this character is formed. They lie at one end, and at the other end there lies the true nature, the true swarupa of yourself, the true self and apparent self, the tug of war between these two. And here, what I said in the beginning, while taking up this verse, that the crux of our spiritual struggle lies in this verse, that uddharet atmana atmanam, raise yourself, that though these both tendencies, they lie within you. I many time I while speaking to people who want to discuss on who like to discuss, who like to hear on such topics as spiritual life and spiritual struggle, I say to them that how becoming successful is so difficult. That first thing you have to understand, that of these both tendencies, you are the common source of their power, because they lie both within you. You power them. They are both going to exploit the same resources. And your sanskaras, they dominate just because of sheer abundance of it, the repetitions of it, the numbers of it. So many times you have repeated, you have believed this. So it is not strange that they become heavy over your this newly found enterprise, that you have been, so to say, a very nice person, everything was very normal, and sometime you have read Swami Vivekananda's book, you have read then again more books, you have read then Vedanta, and now you have discovered that you are not body and mind, and now you are an Atman, and you try to defy that, you want to challenge that, and you want to deny your own self, who has been continuously, life after life, come to believe that you are body and mind. How can just this your newly found realization, newly found thought can challenge that old repeated that belief? It is so beaten that you have become it. But on the contrary, the hope there is that it is not that you have come to think of this thought and ideas for the first time. That belief has been challenged for certain. There is no doubt. That you cannot simply read some book and form an idea and you feel like live it, realize it, act upon it. It cannot happen just by reading a book. It is certain that you must have cultured, inculcated that thought a lot many times than what you know, that how you have done in this life only. It is not this first time you are cultivating that thought. And apart from that, the truth is on your side. Certainly, truth is not newer to sanskaras. Sanskaras are only newer to the truth. The truth is the ancient, the oldest one. Nothing can precede it. That is on your side. So you should prevail. Your resolve, your resolution, your effort should prevail. That is the hope. And that this is the spiritual struggle, this tug of war, that make your mind accept the truth and live and act accordingly, to assimilate it, to give its own old way up and align itself to the truth and to make it a reality. That is the realization of this truth. So uddharet atmana atmanam. So in this tug of war, there is little room of flying one way or other. That is the scope of your self effort. Everything is very heavily conditioned, but there is a little room where you can fly one way or other. And here only your choices will make the difference. This is our spiritual struggle. So, as one person can defy the old beaten, which is the comfortable, which is known, which you are used to, and take up something which you are supposed to, which you should, that would make the difference. Shreya or Preya. We become so accustomed, so used to our zone of comforts, which is known. Even we have this adage that known devil is better than unknown angel. We fear this unknown so much. The zone of comfort, we do not want to come out of it. This is what the difference between a young and old means. A old one want to become stereotypical, he want to do what he is used to. He do not want to change. Youth want to challenge the status quo. They want to experience. They want to break the barriers. They want to go beyond the boundaries. That is youth. This is oldness. So learning cannot be stereotypical. You have to challenge the status quo, go beyond the boundaries, break the barriers. Becoming open to unknown. But that is very uncomfortable. Sri Ramakrishna said, Javad bachi tavashiki, as long as I live, so long as I learn. Learning is facing the unknown, something new, which you have not known hitherto. It requires creative faculty. It requires manipulating your mental faculties, intellectual faculty, using your will, put it to something, make it productive, make it bring out the result. That is the process of learning. You do not want to do that. You want to travel that own beaten path. That is the zone of comfort. But you feel that is risk-free, but there is no profit. You will not gain anything. If you have the attitude of the youth, then there are the chances. Your life will not be as comfortable or smooth. There will be a lot of palpitations, but certainly you will go the distance. These are two things. We get old because we want to become stereotypical. We become stereotypical, we become old. We are challenging things, breaking barriers, going beyond boundaries. We are young. That is the difference. Something is learning and something is sticking to what I know, and that's it. Raising yourself by yourself. That you will, as if when there are, suppose, votes, in a small meeting, in a board of directors, there is a chairman, and there is a tie of votes. So board of director has the last vote of veto, and to whichever side now he will vote, that side will win. Your little scope of this flying of your sale paper of choice, this is like that power of veto. You make the right choices. Do not feel uncomfortable, or certainly you will feel uncomfortable. Learn to live with it. Face the unknown. Challenge the status quo. Let your faculties work. They are able to, they have capacity to work. You only have to allow them. They can become productive. They can create. Yes, they do. Only you have to accept this. Only you have to bear this discomfort. That you have to do. Uddharet atmana atmanam. Most of the people, the cause of our sorrow, our sadness, a stagnation, or this boring, boringness of it, if I may call it, the boredom of it, because we subscribe to these habits and accept that this is the fact and there is not going to be change. Change is difficult, that I cannot change anymore, I am too old for that. And we accept things and learn to live with it. Maybe, however, even if they are uncomfortable, inconvenient, you learn to live with it. Swamiji in the Jnana Yoga gave the example of a frog. If it is heated, what is called as the something name is there of that this syndrome in psychology. I forgot its name. That frog, if it is put into normal water on a pot and slowly that water is heated up, because frog's body, its temperature get used to that water change in the water temperature. After some time, that even if it is detrimental to its health, it will not be able to leave that water. It will die, but it will not be able to live. That is the state of the jiva. Even that water start boiling, that frog will die, but it will not jump out of the water. What a tragedy. The way to life is in front of it. It is free. If he has to but to take the jump. But he fears the unknown because he is acclimatized here. He has become used to it. It dies. Uddhared atmana atmanam. So from where we have to raise ourselves? Here, which we do not want to live, which we are accustomed to, that we do not want to live. We become unhappy. We wish if it would be nice that this thing would change. But you are not ready to take this initiative. You are not ready to do that self-effort. This is, you have to do that. Uddharet. You have to act. Nobody is going to save you. That it says that if you take one step towards God, God will take 100 steps towards you. But see the construction of this sentence. You have to take the first step. He's not going to take the first step. You have to take initiative towards him. You have to surrender. There was one beggar who used to pray every day, that he used to sit on the footpath, and there was some other hawkers who used to sell, among other things, lottery tickets. And sometimes he used to see some people get lucky, and they get certain kind of prizes. And he used to imagine that there is this lottery of 1 crore rupees, 10 crore rupees, etc. So if he also might get lucky, that, and he used to pray to God that, God, please make me win the lottery, etc., etc., every day. And one day he was so, unhappy and sad, and upon his situation and his sorrow, that he very plentifully he prayed to God. God gave him vision. He said, "Are, I will make you win the lottery, but at least purchase the lottery. 10 rupees lottery, you purchase it. I will grant the price of 10 crore rupees, that is okay. But at least you purchase the lottery, or shall I have to purchase that also for you?" That much initiative is necessary. Uddharet. That things are not going to change by themselves. That we have to act. We have to put self effort. However discomfortable it might feel to you, but this is the truth. We have to put the effort. We have to come out of our discomfort, our comfortable zone. Make our faculties work. They can work. They can bring the result. Yes. Just do not believe contrary, that nothing is going to change. Just do not believe that. So, uddharet atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet. Do not let your mind go down. Atmaiva hi atmano bandhu. Such mind, such faculties of your mind, which is helping you towards greatness, towards spiritual progress, that mind is indeed your friend. Atmaiva hi atmano. He is indeed. Atma eva, that yourself itself. Self is verily your friend, the friend of the self, Atmanaha. Bandhu. And Atma, then yourself, you yourself are your enemy. Atma eva ripura atmanaha. So you are your friend and you are your enemy, depending upon which kinds of faculties prevail, which takes you towards higher good, spiritual progress, control of your mind, propelling your will, channeling your will, developing that concentration, developing that indriya nigraha, manasayam, developing that dhyana, bhakti, etc. They are the good tendencies. That mind, that aspect of the mind, that faculties of the mind, they are your friend, which takes you otherwise. They are indeed your enemies. So this is the 5th verse, and in context of that, I remember this verse, and I was reading this book. This book name is Yoga Vasishta Saraha. It is translated by Swami Sarvadevanandaji. He is now head of Vedanta Society of California, Hollywood. And he has translated this book originally from Bengali. Swami Dhireshananji has done this original Bengali translation and narration. Swami Dhireshananji. And Swami Sarvadevananji also added some other tika, which is available on this treatise. Yoga Vasishta is a very big composition. There are lot many verses. So this is Yoga Vasishta Sara, is very small compilation of its verses, of those ideas. So here in this context, that you are your friend and you are your own enemy. While reading this book, I have come across this verse, and this is a very very popular verse. And present President Swami Smaranandaji Maharaj, he was very fond of quoting this verse. And this is from Amruta Bindu Upanishad. So it says, it's very simple. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha moksha yoho. That mind indeed is the karanam, is the reason of manushyanam, of the people, for bandha and moksha, both. That mind alone, it can cause bondage or it can lead up to freedom. Bandhaya Vishaya Saktam, the mind which is Vishaya Saktam, which is Asaktam, attached to Vishayas. So that is the reason for Bandha. Bandhaya Vishaya Saktam Manaha. That is the meaning. Bandhaya Vishaya Saktam. Muktair Nirvishayam Smrutam. Smrutam, it is said. So Nirvishayam Manaha, that is the reason for Mukti. Muktair Nirvishayam Smrutam. This is from the Amruta Bindu Upanishad. It is quoted here in this book. And I had said that I would also take some verses which are which I came to read here, and I found they are very appropriate with the subject at hand. So I will just go by some reading them and with a very free translation of it. So Mano hi jagatam kartru, mano hi purushah smrutah, manakruta krutam loke, na shariram krutam krutam. So what is said here, that mano hi jagatam kartru, of this world, mind is the creator. That mind creates this world. And mano hi purusha smrutah, that mind itself is what is identified as the person, the karta. Manakruta krutam loke, if something is done with the mind, then only in this world it is said as something done, krutam. If there is no mind, only with the physical you are doing something, it is shariram krutam, na shariram krutam krutam. So if something is done with only physically, not with the mind attached to it, so it is not done. Na shariram krutam krutam. And very a commonplace example is given here. Enaiva lingita kanta, tenaiva lingita spruta. That with the same person, with the same body, he embraces his wife with a different kind of love and affection. And also he embraces his daughter with another kind of affection and mindset. Bodily, he is the same person. The mind, its orientation, its state is different. So, manakrutam krutam loke. What is done with the mind, that alone is done. What is done only physically, that is not done. Here in this context, some other verses. Upadeyanu patanam heya, upadeyanu patanam heya, ekanta vivarjinam, yadetan manoso rupam tadbandham vidhi netaram. that what is upadeya, what is conducive, what is uh, agreeable, acceptable. So anupatanam, you follow that, and which is heya, which is discardable, disagreeable, that ekanta vivarjanam, absolute what you say, giving up, vivarjanam, discarding it. So this is the manoso rupam, this is the nature of the mind, of the form of likes and dislikes. And this itself is the bondage, na itaram. This itself is the bondage. Likes and dislikes. Liking something agreeable and following it on, and totally running away from something which is discardable. This love and hate, this duality, this nature is called as the mind, and that itself is the bondage. This is the bondage. Na itaram, there is no other bondage. This duality of the mind. अयम सोहम इदम तन्मे एतावन मात्रकम मनः, कि ये मैं हूं और ये मेरा है. अयम सोहम idam tanme etavan matrakam manah, that I am this and this is mine. This is the form of the mind. Etavan matrakam manah, etavan matra, because that is the nature of the mind. Tad bhavena matrena vicharena viliyate. So tad bhavena, so knowing thus that this is mind, or tat means that tat atma, tat chaitanya, if it is thought from its perspective, then by through discrimination this mind will go to viliyate, it will dissolve. I am reading it backwards. So asamyak darshanam yat syat atmani atma bhavanam. What is asamyak darshan? What is the wrong perception? Yat means when it is when that atmani syat anatmani, which is anatma, which is not you, and you find yourself in it. Anatmani atma bhavanam. You become one with something which is not you. Whatever you possess, that is not you. You own it and you feel one with it. Right from body, mind, etc. Means with many titles, many upadhis you get with the birth. Not only this intrinsic psychological or intellectual faculties, name, fame, etc. I am so and so. You become one with it. Even the physical things, my dog, my pet, my car, my wife, my father-in-law, etc. Anatmani atma bhavanam. Asamyak darshan yat syat. So what is asamyak darshan? This is what asamyak darshan is. Anatmani atma bhavanam and yad vastuni vastutvam. Yadavastuni vastutvam. So in avastu, you find the which is not true, which is not the substantial, which is not permanent. You come to think of it as permanent. Tanmano vidhi Raghava. Hey Raghava, this is the mind. Vasishtha is saying to Prabhu Sri Ram that Raghava, this is the mind. That anatmani atma bhavanam and avastuni vastutvam. This is the mind, O Raghava. Mano amuna eva abhyuditam manak eva anavekshanat. So amuna, just in this way, just Just by the way, amuna and mana abhyudatam. So manak eva manak, for a slight anavekshanat, that you become you are not very keen. Vekshana, ikshana, ikshana. Anu is very pointed, and ikshana is looking, and you are inadvertent. Very slight of some anavekshana here word is used, discrimination, watchfulness. Yes, watchfulness. If you are inadvertent, you are not very attentive, alert, even for a slightest time. And just like this, amuna, mana abhyuditam, that mind arises. That means mind breaks down into waveforms. That is the idea. Swaswapna marana karam, like in your own dream, you find see your death. Prekshamanam na vidyate, means both these things, if they are seen in the right perspective, na vidyate, do not exist. Prekshamanam na vidyate. Ata sankalpa siddhyayam sankalpe naiva shamyati. Therefore, which is formed out of this sankalpa, this mind, sankalpa siddhyayam, of sankalpa, it has got its veracity. With this sankalpa only, it will shamyati, it will dissolve, it will disintegrate. Like enaiva jayate tena vanyajvaleva vayuna. Like fire is made up of air, and air only it will extinguish. So these are few verses, and they are very beautiful. And there were some other one or two, but we will take break here. The time is up. And I would like to tell you all that next Sunday, on the 1st August, there will not be Gita class. We will continue from the next Sunday. Probably it will be 8th. So till then, Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishnarpanamastu.